Previously on Blend.
But some of them are very helpful. Like when you say a stitch in time saves nine, that is very helpful, and it's one of those philosophies of mine that I use in my daily life. I absolutely do not like procrastination at all. Like, like I don't like it. I always like tend to like want to do the things I have to do so that I can have time to just chill later. You can say like that's how lazy I am. No, like I just want to do the things now so that I don't want to do anything later on. That's my own thinking about it. That's why I don't procrastinate. It's like let me just do what I have to do now so that I can just relax and do nothing later. Greetings from God knows where you're listening to your number one electronic music station in God knows where. This is Lázougi Live and you are listening to Blend live here on Lázougi Live, and this is episode 6 of Blend. My name is Lázougi. I welcome you to another wonderful episode, another totally packed and immersive bonding experience. I welcome you to Blend. Okay, I want to say thank you for tuning in, thank you for being part of this broadcast, thank you for listening, and thank you for always being part of this wonderful family. It's really very it's really nice to see you. I'm glad that we get to do this once again. We get to chill this wonderful Friday evening. Okay, it's 10:46 p.m. over here in God knows where, and I'm doing this broadcast a little bit early. Okay, a little bit earlier than usual because I really don't trust. I really don't trust these electricity guys, so we have to like take chances now there is now that there is power. Okay, so that's why we're doing this broadcast a little bit earlier than usual, and I hope that at the end of this we are definitely going to look back at this episode as a very memorable one that is totally packed with information, with music, with talk, with conversation, and all of the good things that you love to enjoy, or that we love to enjoy over here on Lázougi Life. How are you feeling? How are you doing? I hope you had a very, very wonderful, a very, very wonderful week. I hope you enjoyed yourself in everything that you did. I hope you had fun. I hope you got to do the things that you love. Okay, I always want to check up on you and see that you're doing okay, and it makes me really, really glad that you get to be part of this broadcast of ours, or in general part of this family over here on Lázougi Life. Before we go into what we'll be talking about over here on Blend, and in case you're just joining us and you're wondering what do we do here, what are you guys all about over here on Blend? What we do here on Blend is quite simple. We always tend to analyze and dissect the social issues happening around us in society in order for us to have a better understanding of the philosophy of how society works. And also we do this by studying the social issues happening around us in society, as well as studying and dissecting and analyzing the social conventions that govern the way society works, all for us to have a better understanding of our society and how we as individuals can navigate ourselves within the society in order to be more productive, in order for us to contribute more value, in order for us to be better people within our societies. We always come here to dissect, analyze, and rub minds together in order for us to find a lot of information that we can feed ourselves on, that will enable us to have a better understanding of our immediate environment. Okay, so that's what we do here on Blend. Of course, we also listen to electronic music. It's your number one electronic music station in God knows where. So we listen to electronic music. We immerse ourselves in electronic music and have this wonderful and totally packed immersive bonding experience. Okay, it's just you and me having fun, rubbing our minds together, catching a lot of fun, okay, and talking, having these amazing conversations. And that is what we are going to be doing on this episode of Blend as well. Okay, so this is episode 6. My name is Lázougi, and once again I welcome you to this platform. Okay, I welcome you to Blend. Before we go into what I'll be talking about, or the topic on ground, and the topic that will be feeding ourselves with, okay, before we go into this, I would like to say that Lázougi Life is 2 years old. Okay, yeah, Lázougi Life is 2 years old, and it has been an amazing journey, a journey of, it has been a roller coaster ride. Okay, we started streaming, we started doing this live broadcast on the 7th of August 2017. So 2 days ago made it 2 years that we have been running the show, and we have been doing this broadcast, and coming every Friday to talk, to have a lot of discussions, to do what we do here and what we love to do here on Lázougi Life. So we've been doing this for the past 2 years. Like I said, it has been a journey of ups and downs. It has been a wonderful and also a very terrifying, a crazy experience, and a lot of things have happened during this past 2 years. A lot of failures, a lot of struggling, in order for us to get to where we are currently. And I want to say thank you for being supportive, for always being part of this family, for sticking around, for showing your support by being present, by coming over and over to listen and to catch up with what we do here on your number one electronic music station. So during those times of struggling, during those times of uncertainty, not being sure of what I was doing or how to make this whole thing come together, you have always been there, and I want to say thank you for your patience, thank you for your understanding, thank you for for being part of this wonderful family. It has been a wonderful experience, an amazing journey, a a very exciting one, and a very terrifying one. It has been all sorts of emotions packed in one hell of a ride. Okay, so when I want to say thank you, I really appreciate your support. I love you so much for for that, and I really want to say that is this is an amazing an amazing experience for me. Okay, I've learned a lot, I've grown, I've matured in so many ways, and I've been able to take all of my past experiences and use those experiences of mine to be able to get myself to the point that I am now. And it has been one of difficulty. Okay, yes, like, to be very, very honest, it has been very, very difficult getting to this point, getting to this state, or to this place that we are currently in. And it has been one where a lot of a lot of ups and downs, mostly, good times, bad times, all packed in just one hell of a ride. Okay, and like I said, there has been a lot of failures. Okay, like, I just want to really, really make that really clear, both in the earlier stages and the most recent one, having to lose all 70, the first 70 episodes that we had together. Okay, having to lose all of that and start all over again and rebuild from the beginning it has been very, very difficult. But by the grace of God, and by sheer willpower and sheer determination, we have been able to get to this point. And I'm really, really proud of what we have been able to do with the little that we have. I'm really, really, really proud of it. Okay, and I know that as we continue to work together, as we continue to share this experience, we continue to grow, we continue to bond, we continue to get to know each other better, and have lots of fun, and have lots of memories from this experience that we share together. And the truth is, the truth is, I would have loved people to really see my struggles during those first 70 episodes. Like, I would have loved both future listeners and people in general to see, and to see the struggles that I had to go through, to see the failures, to see those moments where I couldn't speak, those moments where I didn't know what to say, those moments where I stammered, those moments where I would come on air and my voice would be shaking because I hadn't gotten used to the feeling or to the experience of being live, and to the experience of broadcasting live. So it was, like I said, one hell of a ride. And I would have loved people to see that. I would have loved people to experience that as well, so that they know that getting to a point where you are good at what you do takes a lot of determination, takes a lot of hard work and persistence, and a lot of struggles that had to be struggles and obstacles that had to be overcome in order for one to get to this point. But what we have now is we are at a stage where this whole thing has been perfected to a certain extent, and I think it gives the impression that one is naturally talented, and having to do this has been just out of natural talent. And the those failures, those struggles, those obstacles, those mishaps, those traumatic experiences that we share together, there's no evidence of that now, because now everything has been perfected. And although it's no fault of anyone that I lost those first 70 episodes, I should have been more careful. But I would have loved people to see that those moments where I failed over and over, but I kept coming back. But now all people see will be this much. All people get to see now is a much better and much better and well put together package or experience, because of how long I've been doing it and how much I've grown and how I've become more confident. I think it just gives off the impression of natural talent, and not a lot of that failure will be out there for people to see and to know that this takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time, a lot of persistence, a lot of failures over the past 2 years, and all of that I had to let go of all of that. It was a very tough decision for me to make, and we have been able to use all of that failures, all of that past mishaps, all of those traumatic experience. We have been able to build up on it to get to this point. Okay, I'm really proud of what we've been able to do. Kind of reminds me of the story of David and how how nobody really knew him or saw him when he was fighting when he was fighting the lions and the bears, but that was his way of preparation, of his way of getting ready for the journey ahead. There's been a power cut like I predicted, and there's no power now. So we have to make do with what we have, and we have to move very fast. Okay, we have to move very fast so that we can make the most, out of the backup power that is on this system. So what I'm going to be doing on this episode, I'm going to be taking a slightly different approach, and I'm going to be personalizing what I'm going to be saying on this episode of Blend. Usually I don't really like talking about myself. I do share my personal experiences with you though. I do share some of my personal life with you, but talking about myself in the sense of using I did this, I did that. If you notice, I would always use we rather than I. I'm more comfortable with using we because it's a we thing, it's not about me, okay? It's about what we share, and it makes me more comfortable speaking with those terms rather than using I did this, I did that. But I'm going to be taking a slightly different approach on this episode of Blend, and I'm going to be personalizing everything I'm going to be talking about today, and this is because our topic of discussion today, or actually what I'm going to be doing today, is actually I'm going to be preparing for criticism. Yeah. So I'm going to be preparing for criticism because I find that as a creative person, criticism is inevitable. It is inevitable, and in the light of recent events that occurred during the week, I'm starting to think that one must prepare, that I must prepare my mindset for for the criticism that is inevitable. Yeah, and I must prepare myself for that eventuality that is likely to occur as a creative person. And so that when that big day does arrive, I'm going to be like ready and be in a state of mind where I can deal with it better because I've made these preparations. So I'm not going to be taking any chances with 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 that. So in order for me to put myself in that state of mind where I'm able to deal with criticism, if it does come or when it does come, I'm going to be doing a lot of reorientation. No, a lot of reorientation on this episode. So, like I said, I'm going to be personalizing everything I say on this podcast. So, if you like my approach to this preparation, um, good for us, okay? Very good. But if you think I can take a slightly different approach in this preparation for criticism, yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. And to be part of this conversation, all you simply have to do is make use of the live chat box right here on your YouTube application. And if you're listening via the comment section, all you simply have to do is make use of the comment box right there on your YouTube application. So I'm going to be doing, again, like I said, a lot of reorientation and preparation, putting myself in that state of mind where I'm able to deal with the eventuality that is inevitable as a creative person. And another reason I'm making this broadcast is when it does happen, I can have something to look back to and make reference to. I say, okay, I've talked about this before. I've talked about ways to deal with this. So definitely I've prepared myself, I've fortified myself. And even if I do forget, or if I forget, I have you to remind me that, dude, you're not supposed to react this way because we've talked about this in the past. And knowing that if you have to remind me, you probably wouldn't remind me in a very nice way. So this is to sort of put me in check. Let me put it that way. And not only put me in check, but to prepare my state of mind. And through this series of reorientation, to have a better understanding of how to deal with it. Because frankly speaking, I haven't really experienced criticism, but I know it is something that is definitely most likely gonna happen, considering what I do here and considering the fact that I make the kind of music that not a lot of people would definitely. It's not something for everyone. Okay, so a lot of people might not resonate with it. That's true, because not everybody's going to like what you do anyway as a creative person, and some people are very vocal about not liking your stuff. And if one doesn't, or if I don't put my if I don't put myself in that state of mind to be able to deal with it, might catch me unawares, and I might react in a different way than I would have if I'd prepared for it. So that's what I'm going to be doing on this episode of Blend. That's what I'm going to be doing, just general reorientation and a shift in mindset. Let me put it that way. So before we get into the episode, and before we start, or before I start, okay, before I begin, and what we're going to do first of all, in order to warm us up, is we're going to go for a music break, and we're going to listen to this song. This song is titled "I Have No Friends," and let's listen to this, immerse ourselves in this, and when we come back, it's going to be difficult, okay, saying all of this eyes, but I know I'll do it, okay, because I have to. So when we come back from this music break, I'm going to be doing this reorientation and looking at criticism and taking a different approach to how to react to criticism as a creative person. So enjoy this one. You're listening to your number one electronic music station in God knows where. This is Lázougi Live, and you're listening to Blend episode 6. Stay tuned. When we come back, there's more talk, more music, and more conversation here on your number one electronic music station in God knows where. Spiritually fit so that you can always find it in yourself, to grow. The mentally fit so that you're listening to Blend. Welcome back from that music break. The song that you're listening to, or the song you're currently listening to, is titled "I Have Friends." So let's get into it. Okay, what am I gonna be doing in order to prepare adequately for criticism? It might sound funny to you, okay, but because of every creator that I've watched over the past couple of years, everyone who has you know who has been a favorite of mine, all of them have experienced criticism in one form or the other. So I'm starting to see a pattern, and I'm starting to see that it is inevitable. And most of the time, to be really, really frank, most of the reactions that I see from these favorites, or not only favorites of mine, but from creative people in general, most of these reactions, a lot of people find these reactions to be very should I say unsatisfactory, and a lot of people find the reaction this you know the way people react to criticism, the way creative people react to criticism, most of the fans of this people find it to be very unsatisfactory and would expect them to react in a much more different way. I've outlined some couple of steps that I'm going to be taking, and the first one of which is I'll have to detach myself from my music or from my work in general. Yeah. Like I'll have to detach myself from my work and from the things that I do. And the reason for this being, most of the time when we experience criticism in our work, our first reaction, our first instinct when we hear things like, for example, someone says, Lázougi, your album is shit. Oh, pardon me. Your album is whack. Okay. Someone says your album is Lázougi, your album is whack. Most of the time, our first reaction or what we interpret that as is, Lázougi, you are whack. Okay. So, and that is because we as creative people, we have invested ourselves so much in our work. We have put a lot of our personal life so much into our work, and a lot of our personal experiences have gone into the creation of our work, that we start to associate it as an extension of ourselves, as part of ourselves. And whenever somebody criticizes our work as creative people, our first instinct or our first reaction is to interpret it as a direct attack on us. So again, somebody says Lázougi, your album is whack, and most of the time the first reaction to that is to interpret it as a direct attack. So by detaching myself from my work, and a lot of people would argue that that you cannot separate the artist from the art. I ain't gonna fall for that, okay? And I'll tell you why. There's a couple of moments why I think that kind of approach is what leads to people. It's not just creative people, okay? People in corporate world as well. Because of that investment, how much we've invested ourselves in our work, we start to treat it as an extension of ourselves, as part of us. So by detaching myself from my work, and when I say I'm detaching myself from my work, I don't mean that I'm not going to be as meticulous as I've always been about it, or I'm not going to invest myself in it. But I need to stop treating it as an extension of myself. I need to stop treating it as part of me. So I have to be able to play the role of an observer and to be more objective about my work, rather than taking the role of a creator. I'd rather play the role of an observer of the process that leads to the creation of the work. Okay? So by maintaining that objectivity, by detaching myself and playing that role of an observer, I'm able to separate myself from my work, so that if anybody says anything like that, or if anybody criticizes my work, and yes, you will agree with me that somebody saying, Lázougi, your album is whack, or your music is whack, isn't necessarily criticism. It's not constructive enough to be considered criticism or constructive criticism, because it doesn't help you in any way solve the problem, or it doesn't help a creative person become better. It's only just to put it bluntly, it's only just like taking shots at a person. But in case of constructive criticism, you're able to point out the flaws or what you think can be done to help such a person improve. But let's face the reality on ground, and the reality on ground is that a lot of people think that when they say it in such a way, when they say things like "Ziggy, your music ain't good, your music is whack," they think in their own reasoning that they're actually criticizing you, or they're actually criticizing me, or they're actually criticizing the creative person. So for them, they actually take that as their way of as their way of criticizing people. And the more one continues to argue with them and say you're not criticizing the way you should be, you should also understand that it's you against perhaps millions or thousands of people who share that same mentality, that simply calling an album whack is criticism. So rather than argue with them and say no, you're not criticizing, it's like you're fueling the flames, and it's much better for one to prepare one's mindset to be able to deal with it in the eventuality that one faces and encounters criticism. So one of such ways, like I've said, is playing that active role of an observer of the process, okay, of creation of the work, rather than think myself as the creator of the work. So the question is, okay, if you're not the creator, or if I'm not the creator, then who is? Okay, who is the creator of this? Who is the creator of the work? Who is the one making this? If I take that role, or if I play that role of an observer of the process, so who is the creator? Who is the one actually doing the creation? And I'll get into that right after this music break, because first of all, we have to go for a music break. When I come back, or when we come back from this music break, we'll be getting deeper into the conversation. We'll be getting deeper into our topic for today, which is actually, it's not necessarily a topic, but it's more of an activity. And what I'm doing is actually preparing for the eventuality of preparing for criticism, putting myself in a state of mind where I can be able to react and deal with criticism, not in an unsatisfactory way, but in a much appropriate way, by taking some steps to reorientate myself and to pursue this change in mindset, to be able to really put myself in a much better position when it does happen. So this song that you're going to be listening to, and enjoy this one amongst yourself. When we do come back from it, we're going to be going much deeper, and I'm going to be telling you, okay, so if I detach myself, if I choose not to take my work as an extension of myself, but separate myself from my work, who then is the creator? I'm going to be letting you in on that right after this music break. This song we're going to be listening to is titled Echoes of a Charlatan. So enjoy this enjoy this one. Immerse yourself as always, and when we do come back from it, of course, you already know that we are going to be getting into more talk, more music, and more conversation here on your number one electronic music station in God knows. Yeah, enjoy. I'll be right back after this. You're listening to your number one electronic music station. Yeah, in God knows where. Welcome back from that music break. You're listening to your number one electronic music station in God knows where. This is Lázougi Life, and you are listening to Blend episode 6. The song you listen to during the music break is titled Echoes of a Charlatan. And before that, we were in the middle of an activity, and this is a preparation for criticism, putting myself in a state of mind, reorientating my mindset in order to be well equipped to deal with criticism. And again, like I said at the beginning of this broadcast, if you can learn something from my approach, I mean that's a good, it's a win for us. And if you think that there is a slightly different approach that can be taken in order to prepare one's mindset for the eventuality, as a creative person, you should, or we should, know that it is inevitable that we are going to experience, or we're going to encounter criticism from people. And if we don't prepare ourselves for it, we can react in a way that will be misinterpreted by others as as unsatisfactory. So again, let me go through the we don't have much time. I mean, the power on this PC is running out very very fast, so we need to move as fast as possible. So the process of detachment is to separate myself from my work in such a way as to not misinterpret an attack on my work as a direct attack on my person. That is, to not misinterpret an attack or criticism on my work as criticism on my person. So to really finalize that process, or to really get into that state of detachment, one has to realize that I am a vessel. Okay, I am only a pencil in the hands of the creator, of that creative force that is utilizing me to bring these ideas into reality. And by realizing that I am only a vessel for these ideas, I can now put myself in a state of objectivity and become more of an observer of this process. Once I know that I am a vessel, I am able to detach myself. I'm able to put myself in a state of mind where if somebody attacks my work, I don't interpret it as an attack on myself. And again, I'm making this broadcast as a reference point so that whenever it does happen, or if it does, or whenever it happens, I have something to look back to and say, okay, I've talked about this before. I can deal with this. And it's also to give you, the listener, something to remind me of, that if I do go astray or in the opposite direction, you can actually remind me and say, dude, this is what you said, and that keeps me in check. Okay, because I know there is pressure on creators, on creative people, because the pressure gets to us so much that we flip. Okay, okay, the pressure just gets to us, and sometimes we might not intend to react in that way. And that is why one must prepare his or her mindset as a creative person, or as a person in general, to be able to deal with these things, to be able to realize that, okay, just because somebody says my work is trash, or my work is that, or my work is this, as some people may interpret it to be, doesn't necessarily mean they're saying I'm trash, or doesn't necessarily mean they're saying I'm whack. Okay, by putting myself in that state of mind, it's easier to now be more objective and to, if possible, ask further questions. Okay, why do you say such a thing, or why do you say so? What makes you think that this work is whack, or this album is whack, or whatever, this music, whatever you want to criticize at that moment in time, rather than taking that default reaction of becoming defensive and, or if possible, flipping. So just doing this to give myself a better understanding of it. Okay, to really have something to look back to in case I need help, and in case maybe I later on need to hear myself speak and learn from what I have said in the past about how to deal with that eventuality. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this podcast. No, I'm being a bit hasty because I have to, there's like, I have to make the most out of this time, and this, a lot of the warning signals, that that should be occurring has started occurring. I mean, the system is just giving me this crazy signals that is running out, that is dying out fast. So I have to, tidy up and take my leave and leave you with this song as I draw the curtains on this episode of Blend. It has been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience. And like I said at the beginning, if you learned one or two things from my approach, that's a win for us. And let me know in the comment section what you think, and if you think there are better ways that one can prepare for the eventuality of criticism. Let me know, share your thoughts with us, let us know what you think, and let us know your opinions and how you as a creative person or as a person in general have been able to deal with criticism, and what has helped you to be able to overcome this pressure from people regarding the kind of work you put out there when they don't resonate with it. How have you been able to overcome that the criticism that emanates from that scenario of them not being satisfied with your work? Okay, let us learn from you, and I'm very, 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 very thankful that you're able to share your experience with us. Thank you for being part of this broadcast. Thank you for listening once again to your number one electronic music station in God knows. Yeah, okay, to be part of the family here on Lázougi Live, all you simply have to do is subscribe. I was about to say make use of the live chat box. That is also included, you know. But first of all, you have to subscribe and also turn on the live notification bell. And after which, whenever whenever you tune in for a broadcast, you can always be part of the conversation by making use of the live chat box. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the live notification bell. And thank you once again for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I see that you are having difficulties with being able to connect with or tune in properly with the broadcast. I really sympathize with you. I can see the network is fluctuating and it's really going up and down. I sympathize with you, but I know that definitely we'll be able to do this again same time next week, and we'll be back for another wonderful experience. This has been Blend episode 6. Tune in next time for Blend episode 7. Here, your number one electronic music station in God knows where. So take care of yourself. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you next week for episode 7 of Blend. Take care and God bless you. My name is Lázougi, and this has been your number one electronic music station. This has been Blend here on your number one electronic music station in God knows where. Bye.